go. Okay. Little glowy light, little glowy light. Okay. God damn it. I hate YouTube so much. What the fuck? Okay. Cool. I think we got it set up. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. I was having some technical difficulties for whatever reason, but I got it figured out now. That's what matters. For whatever reason, it was being done. Love it. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay. Sorry guys, I was having some technical difficulties, but I got it figured out now. I got it all sorted out now. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was doing something stupid. I got it figured out though. Sorry. Like I said, I'm kind of not smart with computers, so that's bound to happen quite often. Just saying. Okay, so as I said before, we are doing some detail, and we're coloring in or painting in this the stalactite cones or whatever they're called. The drippy bits. So that's gonna take our oval brush. Remember our guide. If you pay attention to the Discord, I put this on the Discord. So remember our guide, right? So we're gonna take I actually want more of a angled brush for this, so that's probably what I'll do, just because I want those angles on there. So that's probably what I'll do. viewer, how are you? Thank you for joining. Hello. How are you, Missy? Oh, I bet that'll be lovely. Be sure to post it in the Discord. I know you're part of the Discord. Post it in the Discord of finished work or whatever that is. What is the Discord? There's a Discord for it. Art showcase. Put it in an art showcase in the Discord. I'd love to see it. Sweet. Hello, viewer. How are you? So what you're trying to do with these shadows, right, is you're trying to show that these stalactites go past the page. And although you can't see it this close or this far away, if I bring it closer and find where the fuck I was working at, there it is. Oop, wrong way. I think. Where am I working at? Let's try to find it right here. Right here. Right. You'll be able to see behind those stalactites and there's stalactites. So that's what I mean by showing depth. You need to use not just black, because black is a void. Think of black, the color black, think of that as nothing. A void. There is nothing perceivable there. It is pitch black. Right? What you want to do to show depth is the variations of dark that go into that void. Right? Hey, Asa, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. We're talking about depth again. But I was just saying that if you get close to the canvas, you'll be able to tell what's darkness and what is more stalactites, more cave, right? So we're trying to use black and dark shades and dark colors, to show depth. Does that make sense? So, that's what we're doing in detail right now, is we're showing depth. We're putting down darker hues and lighter hues of dark. In order to show the viewer the perceiver of the art, the person that's looking at your art, to be able to tell them that this isn't a flat cave, it goes this way. Rather than stopping at the page, it goes continuously. It could go for miles, right? That's what we are trying to tell our viewers as the artists. Put my light here, it's going to be easier to see. So, in order to do that, we're putting down darks, darks and light darks. And what I mean by light darks is like that's black, right? But this is dark blue. Can you tell the difference? If you can, good on you. And that's what we want in our painting. We want those small definitions of color. Oh, it's not just black and gray. It's dark charcoal, black, asphalt. You know, it's all of the colors of black that belong in that group, right? So we have dark blue here, we have black, we have shades of gray, we have shades of dark tan. Like, we're using those deeper hued of the colors that we used in the light spaces to be able to show that the cave still goes forward instead of ending at the page. And that's what the detail's for. Midnight stalactite. I like that. That might be it. Who knows? Anybody else have any? That's a good one. Asa Ploko, the namer of pieces. That's a good one, though. Midnight stalactite. Let me write these down, same as I did with the other ones. Pen. thing about dark colors is it's easy to kind of not know what the fuck you're painting sometimes. It's easy to lose track. Don't feel bad if you lose track. Just remember where you're painting. It's easy to see wet paint. It's harder to see dark paint wet against dark-ish paint wet. So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to just make, and I'm not telling you to sit there and draw faded stalactites in the background. What I'm telling you is to create a mixture of light and dark, black or dark colors, right? Dark hues, dark shades rather, to trick the viewer's brain into thinking that there's more in the cave than just a flat art piece. That's the job you're trying to do. Not draw more stalactites. Not make it harder on yourself. There's no point in doing that. Why would you do that? You're just trying to trick the person's brain that's looking at this to going, oh, there's more into the cave. Basically the same thing that we did up here, or are doing up here, but, you know, depth rather than quantity. your blending brush. That's what it's for. Remember this one? Round one? Remember to use that. You don't want your dark shades to start patching together. That's definitely something you don't want. It's not good. Remember what you see when you're like in a pitch black room. Patchy black is fine, but a dark blue over here and black over here and them intersecting, and it's obviously, you know, a hard wall of what's blue and what's black. That's not going to tell the viewer that there's more to the painting than it just being flat. So you want to be able to blend moderately into and in with the shadows. Early Fridays are always good. And the thing that was asked to me on, I think it was Facebook, was how do I, as a left-hand painter, right, if I'm painting like this, how do I stop from, you know, sliding all of my paint over? Easy. Instead of working from left to right, you would work from right to left. If you're right-handed, you know, yourself smudging because you're left-handed, try doing that. Try working from right to left. So that way you're not working on wet paint while you work, right? Or no, fuck, it was Instagram. Not Facebook, Instagram. Absolutely. The link lasts 30 days, so you have time. I can actually hang on. Bunka 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 bunk. Smoke if you got them. I will say that. Wants to start up. There it goes. There you go. That way you don't have to go digging for it. just keep this fucking lighter on me, I swear. I think I got that confused with that. Which is an easy fix. You know, we're just gonna take a smoke break. That's what we're gonna do. I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab something real quick. course that went out. So, it's getting there. So we're going to use this smaller brush to kind of, well, first we gotta clean it. Okay, there we go. We're going to use this smaller brush to kind of sort through this. And blend it just a tad more. Spread some of those colors. Remember, we don't want straight lines and blurs and bops and that thing can, but because what happens when you stare into a dark room, like a pitch black room, what do your eyes do? It tries to figure out the nearest light, right? And that's what we want for these dark areas. We want different shades of dark so that when you look and go, oh, is that another stalactite? Or, oh, is that another entrance to the cave? Like, we want the viewer to want to explore this cave, right? That is our goal. And that goes with any painting. I mean, that not as much abstract, but surrealism. Like, I'll show you. Let's do, instead of soul, we'll do shit. The one I painted recently. This one, right? Flora Aura. Right? See the depth in here? Let's scoot this back. Right? See that depth? Green, darker, darker. Darker. See what I'm saying? Like, it may be a flat piece. That's me. Right? It may be a flat piece. It may just be, you know, a ½ inch thick. But the way we do our shading can either show that it's a flat piece or more or less of a window, right? That's what we're trying to do. Well, not this specifically, but depth. Even with these little highlights, right? Little highlights on the mountain, right? That shows depth. That shows, see what I'm saying? That shows that it's not exactly, but it's a 3D space. It's a space that you could imagine yourself walking into. That's what we want as a landscape artist or a realism artist, right? If you're a realism artist, you are painting, you know, animals or dogs or people or whatever it is. You want that animal to look as real in 3D in as much depth as possible, right? We want as much detail, right? We're not realism artists, so we're not going for, you know, realism detail. But it goes all around with each cast of art, I guess you would call it, right? Like subsection, right? Whatever your art is, you need depth, you need space, you need shading, right? Right? You need all the color, all the colors, all of the, you know, spatial awareness in your painting, whether it's abstract or, you know, from abstract to pointillism to realism to landscape, they're all using some level of what I'm talking about. That's why I keep repeating it, because it is very more or less fundamental. Does that make sense? So I'm going to throw myself on mute, throw on some music, and do some of this detail. If you have questions, feel free to fill it in the chat. And if you want to know what music I'm listening to, feel free to ask Eris, what are you listening to? And I will happily link it just like I did the Discord. Okie dokie. See, the thing is our brains want to go in straight lines. So you'll catch yourself going in straight lines. I caught myself just going in a straight frickin' line. All these straight lines, yeah, I gotta redo that now. It's frustrating. So don't get mad if you catch yourself going in a straight line, because that's how our brains work. Our brains are looking for those patterns, right? What we don't want is those patterns, because endless darkness doesn't have a pattern, right? So I gotta do my best. To create these blotchy patches within my space. Luckily, I'm doing blending and not line work, so, or like, detail, I guess would be more explanation-wise. So it's a little easier to just use a dry brush and blend some of these patches together. Yeah, that's starting to look good. There we go. I do this thing where I tend to get too hard on myself when I make a mistake in my art. And I tend to get really down on myself. For no reason. I'll make like a mistake, just like that. And it's like, why the fuck am I even an artist? Why this career path, and art for me has kind of helped me fix that train of thought, right? Of like, oh, it's okay, I just made a mistake, I'll fix it, let me add some blue, let me add some black here, It's really helped me do that. So if you have an issue with that, maybe try painting. We are our own brain's worst enemy. And worst critic. Oh yeah. I notoriously do not like some of my paintings. Notoriously don't like some of my paintings. And that's okay. That's the thing that they don't tell you, is that's completely okay to do. You know, sometimes you need to be your own worst critic. It helps you critically think. That's the thing a lot of people these days, a lot of people don't critically think. So when when, not always, but sometimes when you are your own worst critic, it helps you critically think of what you need to do better. Not always, but sometimes. But yes, I still agree, is that it can be indeed your own worst critic on the worst things. And sometimes the most, like, menial things, too, you know? We're in a learning process, is what I say. That's true. It is very much a part of a learning process. Or part of the learning process. So right now, what I am doing... Excuse me. Right now, what I am doing... I gotta put my face in front of the camera so it clears up. I am planning to get a new camera. It's a process. I'm getting a specific camera for what I do. Come on, clear up. Come on. Come on, Z's. Let's go. There it goes. What was his name? I'm off slumber. Good night, people. Good night, Asa. Take care, buddy. We're using this blue, right? This off-color blue to create that depth. and go in and kind of emphasize. When you pull down like that, make sure you're pulling down right instead of, or straight down, instead of at an angle. You don't want your, stalactites in the background looking a little wonky. Whew, I need a break. Fine detail and like small things kind of drive my brain a little nuts. So my vision starts to blur after a little while. Smoke if you got him. I need to clean my work desk so bad. So, it's just a whole bunch of this, really. I noticed yesterday that this has a little bit of a higher comp, so I'll probably lower that a little bit in detail. not sure what that is. Can you explain what that is? Hades Town film diversion. Is there a different, like, is there a digital version or like a? Can you explain? It's a musical. Oh! Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha. So it's the filmed version of that musical. Gotcha. Okie dokie. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Did you have fun? It's a romantic tragedy. Aren't they all? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Did you have fun? Loved it. Good. Good. Take care. Cool. So, see those in the background? All those. See that? Those little faded stalactites in the back. See if I can find other ones. Yeah. These ones. See that ever so faintly? That's what we're trying to do. That detail, that that pull of, oh, what's there, or oh, what's there, or oh, what is the, is there a reflection in the water? We want our viewers to want to sit here and look at the cave, right? They want to see all of the things that are in here. So we want to create the biggest invite as our painting. That's our goal. Whether it's a cave, whether it's a mountain, whether it's a portrait of a dog, whether it's a portrait of a person, we want to bring that level of detail for whatever the exactly. You could just do flat. You could draw, triangles and then do this in the most abstract way, and it'll still tell a story. The level of detail you add tells the depth of the story. Does that make sense? Hope it makes sense. So like even if we cover up some of the bright colors here, we'll still have that light that we wanted to show in previous painting sessions. Makes sense. Good. In previous painting sessions, that there's light, there's variations of light. So like this side, this side may not be it may be too dark. You know what I'm saying? It may be too dark in that cave. To be able to see anything besides this or whatever, you know? It is your job as the artist to create the story on the canvas. Right? Whether that be, now I'll grab the most abstract piece that I have. Well, not the most, but one of them. Right? Look at that. Even with no depth in colors, right? No detail, right? There's no detail. You can still tell there's a story going on. See what I'm saying? So, depth, and then it branches. See that? Whether those are trees, or, you know, a wall, whatever your brain is telling you, at least your brain is telling you that this is farther away than this. That's all we want. That this is lighting up whatever is around here, but not lighting up whatever is back here, because this is too far away. Right? That's what we're trying to do, no matter what. Whether it's this piece, whether it's the Flora Oro one, or Flora Oro one, whether it's this piece, any of them. Oh shit, that's about to fall down. So that's what we want in our pieces, right? And it's one thing if you're just doing, you know, you want those flat colors. It's one thing if you want those flat, I'm trying to think of a piece. Right? It's one thing if you want it to be flat. Right? Flat looks great. Flat has its purpose. Right? But when you want depth, when you want something like this, whether it's realism or, surrealism more or less, you'll be using that depth, you'll be using that scale, you'll be using those shadings, you'll be using all of the lessons, the things that I've been talking about, the techniques, whatever it is, whatever word you want to use. What are even words? So like if you're trying to add scale, if you're trying to add depth to your painting, so that's what we're trying to do in this painting. Scale being the shadows of the cave this way, rather than it ending there. And that can be as easy as, let me grab something I can freaking draw on. There we are. So that can be as easy as taking like a flower. Let me draw like a flower petal real quick. If I can find the nail that opens all of these things. Right? So if I have a flower, right? And I wanted to show that it was maybe a little bit in the shade. You would add he fell, that's fine. You would add, if light is going again, this is just more or less of a rough showing you I'm not going to get absolute directional paths or anything. I'm not that detailed, right? You're going to do that, right? So if your light is here, your shadows are going to be on the opposite side of that light. Same thing as if, like, you're here, right? So if I have this light, see, studio light. If I have a studio light, right, and I put something in front, my shadow casts. But do you see how my shadow casts fade? That's kind of the idea of what we want in our background. So our background shadows don't need to be crystal clear. See like that? They don't need to be in focus. They can be blurry because our light is far away, right? So our light isn't here, our light is far away because we are telling the viewer that there is some sort of light coming from this way and going into the cave. Does that make sense? So when we're drawing our background, whether we're doing the distance or we're doing the close-up, we want, because if you weren't drawing a lit cave, you're just gonna have black. It's just gonna be a void. You're underground. If you've ever turned off your light while like deep in the woods, you know how dark it gets. So like think of that, but like feet underground, right? You're not gonna see anything. So we are telling the viewer that there is some type of light source in this cave. Look. Right? So that tells them, oh, there's stalactites over here. That must mean that this goes further. Right? That's what we're trying to do. So by doing that, the way we do that is we use the blacks, the blues. We use the contrast of that, whether it be stark or subtle, to show that there is something this way. Yeah, there's light here, but there's something this way because it's not quite pitch black. That's what we're trying to show. But I am extremely tired today. And as I said, I am going on a road trip. I'm going out, little vacation for the weekend. And I have a bit of a drive. So I'm going to call it early. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. Well, yeah. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I am extremely exhausted, so I am going to turn in early. Thank you everybody for tuning in. On Monday, it will be regular times. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be out. Monday, it will be back to 8 o'clock. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Definitely check the Discord links and the W link in the description below. Take care. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys Monday. Bye.